Alright, so here we are today at Camp Lagoon, a nice map by Game 1, with Tim's in the red trunks. It's the Greeks against Alundra's Babylonian, who's in the blue. So there's always a little lake here with an island in the center of it, and this can spawn on either side, while the opposite side usually, has this big clump of trees. There's quite large, forests on this map, plenty of wood, plenty of other resources too, but there's a lot of quite tight chokes, and you've also got to be careful of this little army here of neutral units that tends to, I think they tend to face the side that the water's on, or are they always on this side? I haven't actually played enough of this map to know, but I think they've just about always been on this side. So Alundra, seeing those. Tim's for now. Just doing a bit of mixed gathering here. It'll be a little late on the barracks, but should be able to get it in time to defend with it. But it looks like Alundra is actually going hunting dogs first, taking an economic route today. So let's be quite safe. This is a nice map to do, so it's a bit scary trying to actually spear rush around that. So no eco text yet for Tim's. But he's going to have that early barracks, so he'll be able to defend, or even look at pushing. It's not the world's fastest barracks as such, because I mean, you can have your initial 3 wood gatherers go straight to the, well, your initial 3 villagers go straight to the wood, have your 4th put down this storehouse, and then, transfer them across once you've got another 200 wood, start the barracks with the villager, and you get going just a little bit quicker than what this allows. You don't bank up as much food instead. But I mean, this way I guess Tim's has just got plenty of resources to also start working towards his stone gathering for a second town centre. So this is not the greatest of placement, just because it's going to mean more walk time. His villagers are actually going to bunch up at the side because it's actually too close. It's not so much a problem on the trees as such, because if you've got that gap there, eventually when you chop down the front row of trees, it actually means more walk distance for every row after. So in the long run for your woodline, it's actually good to have it quite close. In the short term, it's going to mean you're going to get less, but over time, unless you're replacing your storehouses extremely quickly, it does mean you're going to save. Tim's has brought a villager here. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe you can look at going for the dock. He's just going to bring him home though. He's a little bit lucky that Alundra's scout, I think, actually pulled these guys back a little bit further than they'd otherwise be. Alundra going straight for age 2. Plenty of wood in the bank, so maybe fast stables? Because it looks like no stone gathering. It's over 250 wood, so it's possibly just a stables and a house going up from him. Not keeping a lot of food in the bank either. So perhaps a touch greedy here for Alundra, or is he just going straight on the stone? He's just going to go straight on the stone. No, never mind. He wasn't going to try and go for a quick stables. He's just going to go for a quick second TC. Tim's is going to be a bit delayed in his attempts to deal any damage here, but if he knows about this second hunt, he might be able to push it. At least deny Alundra some food gathering, and at the moment Alundra doesn't have a lot of food in the bank, so if he gets pushed off it, it may actually translate to falling behind in Vil train time, which is always a little plus. But Alundra going to get straight to 300 stone really quickly here. He'll actually have the stone before Tim's will, and Tim still needs more wood. Because he's spent food in the spears and then continued to gather more food, he hasn't got as much wood in the bank. So Alundra's already got that second TC on the way. The ox cart is a fair bit tankier than the villagers though, so Alundra isn't paying attention just yet. If he'll see now. Is he going to be able to save it in time? Or the spear's going to be able to get the ox cart? It is a little bit slower than the spears, but it does manage to make it out of there. So it's a little unlucky for Tim's, because he could have set Alundra back little bit of resources there. Spears, they really shouldn't be taking another attempt yet. They just don't have the numbers, so Tim's is going to realise, but he does lose a spear there, so it's not great. So the barracks has been sitting idle for the moment. Well, Tim's has been working on the wood he needs for a TC. He really needs to probably stop these guys and get them on gold or food at the moment, just so he's got resources to keep pumping stuff out. As Alundra right now, his eco is looking a lot smoother. 26 villages to 17, so Alundra, just by playing greedier and just by also just playing a little bit smarter with the eco there, that's when he built him a bit of a lead, even though Tim's does have more military out at the moment. Alundra just getting pickers. He's still hunting as well, so he has the benefit of both food techs at the moment. Tim's, no techs for him. Alundra going to get a range to start with. So a bit of a slow opening because the spending of the wood tends to slow down your addition of other production buildings. But it's going to be a great counter to the early infantry that Tim's is now trying to go with. He's got some spears back at home as well. For some reason he's going to go for a second TC. I do like this position, but at the same time he does need to just make sure he knows what his opponent's intending to go for. He does still have his scout, so realistically if he just comes past either side of here, he should be able to have a bit of a look at what buildings his opponent's going for. Alundra, second stables now, so this will be a nice combination here. The bows will be able to thin out the spearmen, while the lancers are going to be really good against Hypaspis, and it does just give you the chance to actually start fielding your own barracks units, because then your opponent's likely to mainly get Saris just to try and thin out your bowmen and to hit and run and kill your lancers. The Greeks might even opt to try and play around Toxotes, but it's probably a matchup where you really just want to try and get to one of the few matchups you might actually want to try and get to age 3 pretty quickly. Unless you actually sort of get ahead in the early game. Tim's not going to be able to find anywhere to go in here. We need to start producing out of that second town centre. I think Healing Ointment will be handy for his scout though, but yeah, double TC production now. And he does have the ability to start producing Saris. Does have a little bit of resources actually, so he could look at getting them out. Alundra starting to put together an army now. A couple of lancers. Be able to try and raid with those. So I don't think Tim's has seen this at all, and Tim's 27 villages to Alundra's 45, so just that gap, even though Alundra's not producing perfectly himself, just that gap in their macro. Alundra now starting to fish. It's going to definitely put him ahead. Tim's really see this in time. Oh, he doesn't get the garrison. He does garrison the others, but he's going to have to bring something back to deal with this. And Hypaspis are not going to be great against the Lancers. One of them is going to die to the town centre. Ooh. He sent a Sari here and he had it run past and he didn't really actually do anything there, I don't think. He had to have killed that ox cart. That'd actually be a pain for Alundra. It'd be so much walk time. He'd have to get another ox cart. He's just trying to clean up Alundra's lancers now. He does manage to get. The Lancer killing a spear there. It's not a particularly cost-effective fight though. Like the Lancer costs just about double the spear and he's only got a little bit of health left. Tim's doesn't even have Spearman Champion, although it doesn't really impact that trade, considering it's only Pierce Armor. So more Lancers going down to the TC, but They're denying gathering at the moment. That's pretty big because Tim's is a lot less villagers, 28 to 54 now. So he's got just over half his opponent's village count. I mean, just over half, and he had nearly half of his actually tied up. Garrison there. Tim's trying to do a bit of harass, but I think it would have even been best off trying to take out the ox cart first here. So you might be able to get this in time. Just gonna slow down Alundra's eco a little bit. Alundra raiding with the spears, with the lancers once again. Running into Hypaspis instead of the spears. It's a nice trade for them. Spear champion gonna start coming out. Another barracks here for Tim's. Lancers are a bit of a pest. And I'm just adding gardens and armory. We got one villager in production at the moment instead of two, but his production's been pretty good. 57 to 29 at the moment. A lot of bowmen now. Did he go for, how many ranges did Alundra actually go for there? Does only have the one range. Age 3 on the way for Alundra. He's going to look at pushing here. He's got quite an advantage over Tim's now. Just with a bit of a cleaner economic game and just getting a few kills here and there. Going to try and siege this town centre, I'd say. Denying a fair bit of gathering. Tim's just looking for places to actually restart his gathering. The spears, this is going to be a hell of a fight for them. There's no Saris here to support them. I thought he did have a couple of Saris, but I think he must have had them all picked off by now. The town centre going to go to kill a couple of units here, but will eventually get brought down. Tim's in the meanwhile just trying to produce what he can. Doesn't have a lot of food in the bank. He's just restarted a lot of his food eco here. He can make a bit of a cut to his gold and wood ecos for the time being and just produce what he can to get himself out of this. Alundra is going to be able to take that town centre though, so this is looking really, really dire for Tim's, and he hasn't really been able to make use of this infantry at all. Maybe he could even raid the wood line with those, just momentarily slow down his opponent, or even bring him back home just to try defend. Really needs to try and have plenty of Saris here to clean up the bows, which he's got a few of them, but he just doesn't really have enough to keep the spearmen off them. To really end that bowman ball there. So Alundra, this has been a good push for him. His first armory upgrade about to kick in with temper. Tim's just still has a bit of infantry production, but he's just not making the Saris, just hasn't got any ranges on the way. And I think his chances to finish this are really disappearing. Alundra, in the meanwhile, is just... I think he's going for gold here. He's bringing the entirety of his army in. Tim's GG. Alundra taking the game. But I think... yeah, Tim's just getting... He ran out of food, or did he just get housed there or something? He must have been running out of food because it wasn't at 20. Yeah, Alundra just with a little bit cleaner eco there. Able to take the game.